do. There we go. Hi everyone, it's Vicky Blades, your visibility strategist and confidence coach here. I'm starting today's training, which is all about nailing your kick-ass intro. Yes, something we all need to do. We need to talk about ourselves, we need to talk about our business, and we need to do it in lots of different places, actually. Right, let me go and find my presentation. So, you'll be delighted to know that I have 1 million slides. Hooray! No, we've started at the end, so that's no good. Let me go back to the beginning. Oh, it's all going so well. Here we go. Right. Present. And okay. So here we are. Nail your kick-ass intro. Why are we talking about intros? Intros really, really important because they are literally the first impression that people get of your business. It might not be the first impression they get of you, but it's certainly the first they know anything about what it is that you do. So I find this is one of my most popular sessions that I do with people, is talking about how to introduce yourself. And I know it sounds really basic, like we all know how to say our name, but it's so much more than that when it comes to talking about you and your business, because you want to sound confident. And often, particularly if you're a coach, people don't really know what that is unless you're living in the online space. When you go and meet people out in the real world, as it were, lots of people think coaches are sports coaches. And if you say to them, I'm a lifestyle coach or a relationship coach, they're a bit like, oh, you know, and they might ask you questions about it. The other time that people often feel quite, well, what should we say, like they don't know what to say, is in networking meetings. And again, it's not just for people starting out. You can be at any time in your business and get that sick feeling of dread when it comes to introducing yourself and your business in a networking meeting. And everything I'm going to say today applies to both online and in real life. And some of it will be, you know, slightly different depending on the situation. But I've had clients who have kicked themselves for not introducing themselves properly at a wedding. There's one lady who said, you know, and quite naturally, the person next to me at the table turned around and said, oh, what is it you do? And she was just lost for words. And she ended up kind of rambling on. And then the more confused the person looked, the more she went on and tried to explain. And she said she came away feeling just dreadful. Why couldn't she just clearly and concisely tell them what it was she did for a living? And then I've got other people who, I know someone who came to me because she'd signed up to a membership and she'd been part of this network for an entire year, but had never made it to an online meeting because she was so scared of that moment when the facilitator or the leader goes, right, we're all going to introduce ourselves and you've got 60 seconds. And she just hated that. And then the final person I'm going to tell you about was actually really, really super chatty and really, you know, quite extrovert, quite sociable, loved going to networking meetings, but always came away with a feeling that she'd forgotten something really important. So I don't know if that's ever happened to you, but she was like, oh, I didn't tell them this thing, or oh, I forgot to mention this. And when we looked at her intro, it actually turned out she was trying to cram in too much information. So she ended up, you know, trying to say, oh, when we might have this service and that service, and then we do this and then we do that. And in the end, it just wasn't serving her because people were confused and they didn't know what to do. And so her intro simply wasn't working. That's what we can say. Right. If you're here with me live, I know I've got Susie, I know I've got Linda, I might have more people because my internet is slow and I can't refresh. Just say hi, say hello, drop me an emoji in the comments if you will. And we're going to crack on. If you're watching on the replay, just put hashtag replay. And that means I know how you're watching these trainings. I know there's a lot of people interested in the replay because there's a lot going on today. So that's you. So we're going to look at, here's me, I've got an agenda and everything. 2 main parts to today's training. Now, you know what I say, I'd like to fit it into half an hour, but I probably won't. When I say half an hour, it's usually 45 minutes. So I'm going to say 45 minutes. It might be a bit longer, but tons and tons of information I'm going to cram into here. So let's have a quick overview of nailing your kick-ass intro. So the first step is owning it. We're going to talk about what is it we find so difficult about talking about ourselves and our business. Why do we fall to pieces when somebody says, what do you do? And then the actual intro itself, the way I coach people on it is in 3 main parts, and we will have a look at those parts. The I help statement, the meat in the middle, and then your kick-ass call to action. Okay, so what would you do if I said right now, oh, hey, introduce yourself. Tell me, how would you feel? And this is for anybody on the replay as well. I'm interested to know. If I turn around right now and perhaps I got you on camera and unmuted you and went, hey, introduce yourself. What's the first thing that goes through your mind? How do you feel when somebody says, what is it you do? What's your business? What do you do for a living? Where do you work? Or it's time to introduce yourself. You've got 60 seconds. How do you actually feel about that? I know lots of people don't like it. Like the examples I've just mentioned, people get a sense of dread. They start sweating, they start getting anxious, they get flustered. Suddenly they've forgotten what it is they do and who they serve and why they're in business. We feel like we're put on the spot. We feel like the spotlight is on us. We feel that we have to perform. It's a bit like public speaking. All those kind of anxieties come to the fore. And really, we need to be telling people what it is we do. We need to be getting our message out there. We are doing our potential clients a great disservice if we're not telling them how we can solve their problems, because that's what we all do. That's what a business does. Whatever business you have, it's solving somebody's problem. We do that in a myriad of ways, and of course there are a myriad of problems to solve, but that's essentially what it comes down to. And if you're not out there offering that solution to that problem, then people are missing out, and that's not fair. Okay, Susie's saying she feels a bit of panic. Yes. Do you know what? Me too. I mean, I love public speaking. I'm happy to be on a stage. Linda says she's got a sick feeling. Yes, I know, right? Well, you're not alone. Everybody feels like that. However, my presentation. I think what you should feel is one of these things, right? Have a look at some of those words and tell me if any of those words came up when I said, introduce yourself. Because really, we're running a business for a reason, or many reasons. And for lots of us, it's a big leap. It's a big leap to start running our own business, but we've done it because we believe passionately in what we do. We do it because we want to serve people and help people. We do it because we want freedom and flexibility, and we ought to be celebrating that. We ought to be dead proud that we're one of the 5% of people who have taken the plunge to run their own business. And we ought to be delighted and thrilled that we have that opportunity. We ought to feel so lucky that we get to do what we do every single day. And enthusiastic, I hope, about all the stuff that we do. Hopefully, if you're not feeling empowered, we need to talk, because that's my superpower. but also hopefully you're feeling successful. Now, you might not feel successful every day or even every hour of every day, but there is a modicum of success to running your own business. You've had contact with a client, you've had contact with people who you've helped. So that is a success. And I'm hoping that you feel attractive, that your business is magnetizing people into you, that you feel blessed to be in this position. And that's where I would like to get you to rather. Yeah, Susie's badass. Yeah, we want to feel badass, don't we? Linda, how do you want to feel about your business? Oh, so annoying, I'm having to refresh. So really, this is what we should be feeling about running our own business. But all too often, when it comes to talking about ourselves and what we do, we kind of hide and cringe and get flustered and we ramble. So I really want to get you into a place where you can speak with pride and passion and enthusiasm about your bloody brilliant business that helps people solve a problem. Now, we may not achieve that in today's training, but stick with me and I know that I can get you there. Okay, so I found this just happenstance when I was putting my slides together. Believe in yourself and you'll be unstoppable. And I would say, believe in yourself and your clients will believe in you too. So again, that first impression, that introduction, however brief, is really important. And we need to feel that you're feeling it. And the other thing I think is really important is when we come into, even you think now about people that you come across online or coaches that you've worked with or, you know, groups that you're in. I like that feeling of being inspired by someone and thinking, oh, I want what they've got. I want a little bit of what she's having. She's amazing. I want to be like that. That kind of inspirational, you know, attitude that lots of online coaches have. That's what we need to have, right? And why wouldn't we? You know, brilliant. Okay, so believe in yourself and you will be unstoppable. Own it. In other words, own what you do. Now, something really strange here, and I think it might be to do with imposter syndrome, but sometimes it can be difficult to give yourself a job title, give yourself a occupation or a profession. And I know this because I was the same when I started acting. Now, even though I was at drama school and learning to be a professional actress, I'd been actually acting for a decade before that. I did amateur dramatics, and I would never have called myself an actress until I got that qualification, until I was able to kind of wave my certificate and go, yeah, I've done the training, I've got the certificate, now I can call myself an actress. And even then it felt like, you know, it felt like such a big thing because it was my lifelong dream. It felt really hard to step into those shoes and own it and go, yeah, I am an actress. Now, here's the thing. You don't need qualifications. You don't need a certificate. You don't even need training to be an actor. You can just go and do it. So why I had to put all that kind of massive obstacle in my way, and rather than just step forward and go, yeah, I'm an actress. I don't know. It's interesting, isn't it? And I remember before I did acting, I tried lots of different things. I did improv, which I still do 20 years later. But I also got quite into storytelling, and I used to go to storytelling evenings. Not so much to perform myself, more to watch other people. And I remember this woman who was brilliant. And at the end, I got chatting to her. She gave me a business card. So you know how long ago this is, because we have business cards in those days. And she gave me a business card and it said, I don't know, you know, James Smith, storyteller. And I was like, oh, wow, you're a storyteller. Where did you do that? And she looked at me and she went, here, I tell stories. I know, but yeah, it says on your business card, right? So like, did you go and train? Did you go and get a certificate in storytelling? And she just looked at me like I was mad. And she went, no, I tell stories. And then I was like, oh, but it's a storyteller here. And she went, yeah, because who's to tell me I'm not? And I just went, head blown off. Who's to tell you you're not, right? So whether you call yourself a CEO, whether you call yourself a boss, a founder, an owner, an entrepreneur, a businesswoman, a coach, consultant, whatever it is, own it, because no one will take it away from you. But you have to own it first. No one's going to come and give it to you. No one's going to say, well, you're going to have to go to university, or you're going to have to go and get a diploma. No, you are your business. So pick a title, whatever it is, and totally own it, because we love that. Right. Oh, Zameen's here as well. Hello. Wonderful. Hello. Right. Ladies, are you able to own what you do? I hope so. Okay. Now then, look at this dog. She's owning it. She's like the most owning it dog I could find. So let's get into our three-part structure then for an intro. So the reason I like a three-part structure is that it's three parts that you can change. So the first part is the I help statement. We're going to look at that now. And the I help statement is if you've only got a 2-second intro, or if you just want to explain super briefly what it is you do, then that's all you need. Don't need anything else. Just use the I help statement. And you'll often see this as a kind of tagline on people's profiles as well, or maybe even in their marketing in some way, shape or form. But if you just want to say one sentence about what it is you do, just use the I help statement. However, if you've got a bit more time, then you can use the second part of the structure. And you can use the third part of the structure, which is your call to action. But it's a mix and match. So depending on how much time you've got, it depends on how much of this intro you want to use. But let's go for it, all the three parts. Okay, so the I help statement's really straightforward. You've probably seen it a million times. In fact, tell me in the comments if you know what I mean by an I help statement. Have you come across this before? I feel like I see it everywhere in all kind of training and stuff. Do you know what I mean by an I help statement? Okay, so an I help statement. Now there's a few different variations of this, but let's go with the most simple one to start with. So I help somebody to do something so that they get a result, potentially using my method. Don't need that bit at the end if you want to keep it super simple. Yes, we've got some yeses here. People do know what an I help statement is. Oh, wonderful. Great. Okay. Fantastic. So your ICA is your ideal client avatar. A bit marketing speak. I don't normally say ICA, but I wanted to save space. So I help my ideal client to I don't know, climb trees so that they can pick bananas using my special banana picker method. Okay, I've actually got some more relevant examples here, totally made up. So you might say something like, I help divorcees to reclaim their lives so they can have healthy relationships using my 3-step LOVE method. Should be 4 steps, shouldn't it? 4-step LOVE method. That's all right. It's a bit, could be a bit more specific, I think. What's reclaiming a life? Don't know really what that is. Healthy relationships, yeah, that's good. Maybe lots of people want healthy relationships, and obviously we love a method and we love a step-by-step approach and we love an acronym, so that's all good, very attractive. Or another spelling mistake, irritating. I help midlife female entrepreneurs to shine online using organic video marketing so they can accelerate their income, influence, and impact. That's an old one of mine, actually. I used to use that. Now, you want to focus the ICA, obviously, if you can be really specific, that's fantastic. But if you can't, don't worry about it too much. And the result is what people are mainly interested in. And the 4 main results that people are looking for are more money, better relationships, personal development, and saving time. I think that's the top 4, according to the marketing gurus, that people are really looking for in a nutshell. So you want to get people results with a certain specific action, and perhaps they're using your particular method. But if you don't have a method, don't worry about it. There's another way of saying it, which is that if you don't want to use an I help statement, you might want to say that you show people how to do something, you support people to do something, you guide them. Lots of different words you can use. And some people like to say, I guide people to climb trees so that they pick bananas without getting injured. So you can use that formula as well. So going back to our earlier example, I support midlife divorcees, so a bit more specific, to ditch the toxic relationships, very specific, reclaim their independence and take charge of their lives. Nice, that sounds good. So they can find their healthiest romantic partners ever without all the angst and drama. Would anybody see, I think this is quite a big topic, and I think we could do more about it, but I need to move on. So if you would like, this is live or replay, if you would like more training on the I help statement, pop help in the comments, and I will see if we can do a little session just on getting this I help statement sorted out. Now, it sounds a bit marketing-ish, marketing lingo. Maybe if you're at a wedding, you're like, oh, I'm not going to say that, am I? I'm going to support midlife divorcees to ditch the toxic relationships and reclaim their independence and take charge. Well, what I would say is always have this help statement ready, because if you get flustered, flummoxed, you've had 1 too many Prosecco's, you can always fall back on this foundational I help statement. But obviously, you don't have to do it word for word. Make it natural, adapt it to the situation, the environment that you're in, and use it in a way that suits you. As long as you've got that foundation there, that's when you can start to adapt it. I've got some examples that I picked up from the Tinternet today. So, helping biz owners break through burnout and get their happy back. That sounds lovely, doesn't it? Some of these are a bit like taglines. They've kind of moved away from the I help. But I think they give a really good flavour of what I mean by an I help statement. So when you're too close to your biz to write strong copy for it, I swoop in and write it for you. Well, great. So we know that person's a copywriter and they're going to do amazing copywriting for your business. Joy and happiness for women over 30 using these specific techniques. So you could put I help at the beginning there. I help women over 30 get joy and happiness in their life using hypnotherapy, NLP, and coaching. By the way, I know who these people are, so if you're interested, I can tell you. Helping female entrepreneurs disrupt their way to 100K. One of my favorites, Eva Tynan's. I love that. I think it says quite a lot about the way she works as well. Now, it's not very specific. You might think, oh, how does she do that? Maybe, she's all about marketing, or perhaps she does email list growth. Don't know. You'd have to go and find out. And then I help female coaches to 10x their visibility and confidence so they can 10x their audience and their income. So there's lots of different ways of interpreting the I help statement, but starting off with that as the foundation, I think, is super useful. The other thing, I'm just going to come away from share here, because I know sometimes a presentation can be a bit Oh, just going to stop share for a minute. It can be a little bit exhausting watching a share screen, and I'm just going to go over to Facebook because there we go. Right, I might see my comments now. Okay. Oh, great. So some people looking for a bit more training on the I help statement. And yes, Susie, it does keep changing, doesn't it? I think I've had so many different I help statements, but I think once you've got the foundation, that's when you can start to play with it and get it, embellish, or, start to be more specific, less specific, add bits on. That's what I love about that. And the thing I would say as well, if this is new to you, formulate your I help statement and then say it out loud. Walk around the house, do the washing up, take the dog for a walk, and say the statement out loud, because it's going to sound different to when you write it down. And you need to get used to saying it and saying it confidently, so that, let's say, you're just caught unawares, sitting on a bus, and who's next to you but Lord Sugar, hey, I'm looking to invest £80,000 in my next business. What is it that you do? And then you get your I help statement already. You just never know. I guess it's what some people used to call the elevator pitch. You imagine yourself in an elevator with whoever it is that's going to, help your business be a success, and you have to give them an 11-second elevator pitch. You just need to know who it is you help, what you help them with, and how you help them do it. Okay, doing a time check. Oh, we're all good. Let's get back to the second part of our 3-part structure. Okay, so this is what I like to call the slightly meatier section, and this bit is not entirely necessary if you want to keep it brief, but it is nice because it gives a bit more personality, a little bit of social proof, and tells us a little bit more about you and why you do what you do. So things to include in this second part is your USP. What's your unique selling point? Why do people come and buy from you instead of somebody else? Maybe a little bit about your story, how you came to be where you are in business, why you like to help people in this situation, and maybe what your clients say about you. Now, I would pick one of these. I wouldn't try and squeeze them all in. That would be too much. But have a little think. So I had one of my clients, we were doing her intro, and I said, so what makes your car dealership different to another car dealership? And she's like, oh, I don't know. Well, we have lots of satisfied customers. And I was like, okay. And I said, well, what kind of things do your clients say? And she went, oh, well, that's easy. Nearly all of them say they come to us because of the really friendly personal service. And I was like, brilliant. Let's include that in your introduction. Okay, so when you're coming to this bit of your introduction, see if you can answer these questions. Why are you the expert in this particular business? So what got you there? How did you come to be in this particular industry or this particular niche? Why did you start your business? And for lots of people, particularly coaches, it can be a personal experience. Well, I'm really passionate about helping people because I was at rock bottom, or I was in a toxic relationship, or I had couldn't get promoted, or I wanted to change my life or change my career. And the way I did it meant that I could help other people do that too. So that's a really good one. That gives us lots of lots of expert status, because you've been there and you know what it's like. And then, as I say, the one I just gave an example of is, what's the kind of thing that your clients say about you? So if you're getting kind of regular feedback where clients go, oh my gosh, I can't believe, I found love after working with this relationship coach in, 3 days, or whatever it is. That's kind of your part of your USP as well, why people come and work with you. So this is going to be a slightly longer part of the intro. It's going to be about a paragraph, but it's a really nice way of giving a bit of personality. Now, I'm going to give you an example in a minute, but let's just get on to, I feel like I rushed that. Is everybody with me? Does that make sense? I'll show you an example in a minute. So the final part is a call to action, and this is really important. And I think you can do a call to action even if you're in a real life situation. So might not do it at a wedding unless you're talking to your ideal client. You definitely want to do it in networking meetings. You definitely want to do it in online meetings. You can definitely do it in any videos that you make, any introductions that you do live, when you hop into a group, maybe to introduce yourself. There's lots of situations where you can include a really simple but effective call to action. And what is a simple but effective call to action? Well, I'm so glad you asked. The thing is, we love to be told what to do. So if let's say I've watched your video, and at the end of it, I want to feel like I've achieved something, I've spent my time wisely. And what will help me feel that way is if you tell me what the next step is. And the next step doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't even have to be, buy my thing, or buy my offer, or buy my services. It can be really simple. Leave a comment, subscribe. But it helps me to feel like, oh yes, I've watched this 3-minute video, and now I've clicked subscribe, and I've achieved something. Because we love to learn. We have learning brains. That's what our brains are designed for. So, I love to feel like, I've watched that person, and even if it's just, hey, hit like on this post, I'm like, yes, I can do that. And then I feel really useful. So a really good call to action is clear, concise, and easy. Don't overcomplicate it, and use action words. So action words are things like, join, subscribe, build, click, anything that's a bit of a demand, actually, and you can afford to be quite bossy. And I mean that in the nicest way, because you are asking someone to do something really simple, but ask them to do it in a very direct, demanding way. So be direct, be brief. The micro action, again, you're not asking people to, go and fill in this form, go over to this other website and fill in that form, or give me your name, address, and telephone number. No, nothing like that. We're just asking for a tiny micro action. And if you have a link to anything, obviously, if you're online, this is, get people to click it. For more information, click here, subscribe, click here, buy this, click here. We love that. We love to be told what to do. So here's some good examples of really brief calls to action. Call me, sign up, click here, join now. We love that. It works really, really well. And even if you're on a networking meeting where you think, I'm networking to other entrepreneurs, we're not really selling to each other, we're not really promoting our products, people still want to know how to get in touch with you. And, DM me, messenger me. You can say emails. I think emails are a little bit more tricky because they're quite difficult for people to remember, particularly if you've got 20 people in a meeting and everybody, even if 5 people give their email, you're like, I'm not going to remember that. But definitely, you could direct people to your website, particularly if you've got a really easy website address to remember. Mine's vickyblades.com. So look me up at vickyblades.com, and then hopefully people will. Or you can, here's the link to my website. If you want my free worksheet on how to go live, you can find it there. So keep it brief, keep it simple, and once again, be direct, be clear, be concise. Okay, so my intro which changes all the time. So I actually had to write it down. Let me see if I can find it. Okay, I'm going to read. I didn't put it on a slide because it's actually too long. If I can stop the share there. So my intro goes something like this. Hi, I'm Vicky Blades, your visibility strategist and confidence coach. And I love to help midlife coaches to step into the spotlight and shine online so they can connect with their dream clients and build an audience of raving fans and buyers. I'm also a professional actress, and you might think that means that I'm super comfortable standing up in front of a room of people and talking about myself. Well, yes and no, because sure, give me a script and a director and a crew and I'm all yours. But asking me to talk about myself and my business, I get the dread and the terrors just like everybody else. But fortunately, what I do have is a toolkit at my disposal. So lots of things that I learned as an actress that help me to shortcut my way around stage fright and being able to speak to people. And that's what I use in my coaching business to help people get over the dread and the fear of being more visible. So I'm currently looking for 5 brilliant women like you to join me in the Magnetic Mastermind, where we work on magnetizing your ideal clients by 10xing your visibility and your confidence so that you can 10x your audience and your income. That's me, Vicky Blades, your visibility strategist and coach, and I'd love to chat. So let's get on a call. And then my link is below. Okay, so Linda's saying, I'm just catching up on some comments. So that's just one of my intros that I do. Linda says, in-person networking events. Oh, people still have business cards. Okay, interesting, because my sister worked for, I think it was eBay, when this is a good 10 years ago. And I said to her, you know, are people more environmentally conscious now? I presume, you know, she was flying all over the world and meeting people. And she went, oh, no, nobody uses business cards. We all just linked in each other. I thought, oh, great. And of course, you can get electronic business cards now. So interesting. I'm glad to hear people are still using business cards because I like them myself. Right, ladies, I'm not going to keep you too much longer. Let's crack on with the final bit of our 3-part intro. And we're not going to look at that. We're going to look at there. It is. So nearly there. So that was my intro. Quick demo. And the next bit is, oh, when's your next intro? Kickass intro, I should say. Any ideas when you might next be introducing yourself somewhere? Meeting anyone new quite soon? Are you going to a networking meeting? Are you making a video for your business page? When might you be introducing yourself next? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to know if you're going to be introducing yourself. Next week, Linda. Ooh, is it in person or online? And Susie has a meeting on Friday. Okay, in person. Very good. Okay, so, oh, is that my next slide? Oh, yeah, so next Kickass intro. I'm actually doing some videos for my Magnetic Mastermind. And one of them is going to be my intro video. Although hopefully by then people will already know me in person and online. Yeah, a lot of meetings, what they call hybrid meetings, isn't it? So I'm going to be doing some intro videos. And I can't leave, or I can't let you leave rather, without telling you about the Magnetic Mastermind. It's a real thing. I didn't just make it out for my introduction. You've probably heard me banging on about it already. It is a group coaching program. I'm really excited about it. It's brand new. It's actually going to be starting in a few weeks. And I am genuinely looking for 5 people to be my starter batch, if you like, my founders, my beta testers, whatever you want to call it, my brilliant women who I'm going to pour all of my love and knowledge and wisdom and experience into, so that they can really start to get more visible and get more income. I know it's possible because one of my clients doubled her income in just 1 month of working with me. So I know that that's what we're going to be doing on the Magnetic Mastermind. If you want to know more about that, call me. Let's get on a call. I actually do little mini sessions on Nail Your Intro as well, but I would love to connect with you, find out more about you and your business, and hear your intros. So why not book a call with me? I'm going to drop the link in the comments on the Facebook page, and I probably have about 3 slots this week for calls. Where are we? Wednesday, or it might be, yeah, probably only 3 slots over the next couple of weeks because we've got half term and I'm super busy. So if you want to hop on a call and find out more and practice your intro, then click on the link that I'm going to be posting. Okay, and I think that's my last slide. It is my last slide. Okay, I'm going to stop share. I would love to know how you found that. Any eureka moments, any aha moments, any questions, anything that I feel like I rattled through it, because there's so much info, but let me know what you got out of that. What is it? Sarah says takeaways. That's what she says. Any takeaways? Feel free to drop me a comment, or Susie, you're with me, so you can unmute yourself if you wish.
Hi, I found actually quite a few in there, although I've heard about. Yes, so although I've sort of done several versions of my intro, what I found really, really helpful is the way that you structured it. And I think that's really helpful because it makes it very clear. I do like things that are in boxes. So I think that's going to make quite a difference, actually. When I looked at using that structure, and I looked at what I'd already done, it really wasn't as good before. So that was really clear, particularly the very beginning with the sort of action, ICA, action and result was really helpful.
Oh, great. Oh, I'm so pleased. Yeah, like I say, once you've got it all nailed down, then you can start to, you know, play around with it and embellish it and everything. But I think people often struggle with that very first sentence of, you know, how to start. So I'm really glad you found it useful. Thank you so much. Thank you for being with me here. I always love it when I get people with me on Zoom. I'm going to have a look at my comments here. So Linda's going to relaunch herself. Oh, fun. Okay. And you like to do it ad hoc. I like to do it ad hoc as well. But you know what? The best thing about doing things ad hoc is to have a structure behind it. Because once you have that structure, you make sure that you don't forget anything. And like my client that I spoke about at the very beginning, she was super chatty, very happy to talk about her business. But because of the lack of structure, there were certain things she just forgot to mention. And when we worked together, we pulled out the sort of most important things that she wanted to say. Now, hopefully, you know, in lots of situations, it won't be your only opportunity to introduce yourself and what you do. You know, you might end up having a whole conversation about your business, which is great. But having that structure to start with just gives you something to fall back on. And I think gives you a bit of confidence as well, which is what we're all about. We're all about the visibility and the confidence. Oh, look, it's hot. I'm sweating. Right. Can't see any more comments. But if you are watching on replay, please feel free to drop me your takeaways, ask me any questions, and of course, book a call with me via the link I'm about to post now. In the meantime, I'm going to say thank you very much for being with me today. There will be another training next week. Haven't quite decided on the title yet, but I will let you know. And As always, make use of the group, hop in there, ask me anything, and let's get everybody more visible and more confident. See you soon.